this was brought to my attention via some websites and Twitter. You've said that this has been around for a while. I guess there's more than one, but there's a guy. His name is Jack Wedge on YouTube.
I think what I was referring to is it might have been an ongoing struggle. I think that's what I was thinking of.
No, you've cut me off. So this guy named Jack Wedge.
Yeah, because you never cut me off, ever.
This guy named Jack Wedge did a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out run-through, basically turned away from the TV and blindfolded while he has a Boston Bruins hat on, and with sound, of course, because you still need that to know what's going on. And it's impressive. Don't get me wrong. It's very impressive. But again, this goes back to what Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is. It's a game of patterns. It's a game of when you face the same guys, they always do the same punching sequences at certain times. You just have to know when it's coming. So it was cool though.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to take that away from the guy.
I don't think he got knocked down until Tyson, I think, at the end. But it's interesting to see different strategies that he employed with certain guys. Like, when you get to Tyson, to waste time, keep punching him in the stomach. That just maybe even saves a couple of uppercuts that you don't have to dodge. Otherwise, how do you know when they're coming unless you really know the timing in your head?
I noticed he was doing that a lot, and that was very smart. It wasn't even just with Tyson, it was with the other boxers too. He's taking shots that he knows will be blocked.
Yes.
Because it's easier to regain your stamina, and he's waiting for the opening that he knows he can hit.
And then plus, I think he realizes there's a timing that happens once you turn tired and can't punch anymore. He'll know that next 2 seconds, here comes the punch. And so that was a very smart strategy. When I play Tyson, I just dodge it because I can do it. It takes a lot of practice, but you can do the reflexes. But obviously, if you can't see it, you'd have to know specifically each second in your head when the punch is coming.
There's still an insane amount of precision and time.
But he showed me some stuff. I didn't realize that almost every guy, even going up to Tyson, that you can punch without having to dodge first and get shots in. I didn't even know that. Each guy, you could still do that. He showed me stuff like, I had no idea you can get shots in on this guy. Like Salmon, you can get shots in without dodging a punch. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw stuff that I never knew. And that's why he's the guy who's beating it blindfolded, because he knows all this shit.
You have to experiment and go through these guys, dozens of times to see what works and what doesn't. But yeah, this is just to go back to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Why this game is so great? I mean, remember this game came out in '87 in the U.S.
Right,
and we're talking about huge pixels. We're talking about great sounds, and for the fact that you can do something like this for a game like this, I don't know if it's more curiosity versus being impressed, or the fact that 30 years after the game comes out, you're still finding feats like this that can happen in games. But it's all very fascinating to me. And this isn't something that you could do it like in a modern game. You won't be like, I'll do a blindfolded run of Call of Duty, 30 years from now. People aren't going to care. There's not going to be this sort of finesse involved for something like this.
I mostly agree. But it's because of the nature, I think, of the older games. They're simpler, but they're turn-on play. You can practice at something like that. There's less variables involved. Honestly, you probably could do, if you knew where all the good hiding spots were, you probably could do a run through of a Call of Duty or something. I guess you have to fire a shot, but
the aiming would be tough to do.
Yeah, the aiming would be tough, but I'm just saying, those games are so on rails.
Sure.
I don't think the idea of doing a blindfolded run of a modern game is necessarily impossible.
It wouldn't be as iconic as seeing this and go through, here's King Hippo, here's Piston Honda, here's Soda Popinski, here's Tyson. But that's just the cast of characters that make it. That's why the game's so great, the cast of characters alone.
Right, but now we're leading into a modern games versus classic games argument in general.
Sure. Versus shooting the 50th guy that's exactly the same as the others.
Yeah, so
so I'm not sure if he plans to do this with other games. Then again, I'm not sure what other games you can do this with, because with Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, again, it's knowing that, okay, at this time in round 2, Bulbul's going to do his charge.
Well, and there's good sound effects.
Yeah, the sound effects are excellent.
Right, the sound effects announce things that, say, doing a full blindfolded run of Super Mario Brothers wouldn't necessarily give,
because the enemies are silent.
Right, exactly.
And here they're not. Here when the charge comes, they backs up. When they throw the punches, you'll hear it, or before they start to sometimes Piston Honda when he backs up and starts throwing the jabs back and forth, things like that.
Yeah, audio cues are playing a big part in his ability to do this.
I'm in my head, I'm building this up. This is a 5-star game. The more I think about Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, it's pretty close.
Oh, it's fantastic.
In my head.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that.
So yeah, just check out the video. I'll annotate it somewhere here. Check it out on Ian's face. I'll annotate it.
Yeah, put it right on my face.
Who needs to see that?
Put it right on my face. Just cover it up.